Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Iggy's Toy Parade and Soldier Review. This is your host once again, Iggy. And today we're going to talk about some Airfix figures and also Marx trees and one CTS tree, which is this one over here. But we'll talk about that in just a minute. Today I'm featuring Airfix German infantry and Airfix Fallschirmjäger. And the Fallschirmjäger is on the left of your screen and the regular infantry on the right. There are two different colors, both of them very pleasing to the collector. Now, they're not, of course, authentic colors, but, you know, they don't have to be Feldgrau or Fallschirmjäger colors. These are perfect just as they are. I love them. Airfix, of course, was like the Rolls Royce of toy soldiers when I was a boy, because they're nicely detailed and they got great action poses. And some of the poses are somewhat unique, like this one here. Can you see the hand grenade thrower? Let's set him over here. I probably shouldn't have them on this box, but my kitchen is just filled with stuff all over the table and everything because I'm trying to get through these things and film them. In storage, I still have 7 large tubs filled with toy soldiers and stuff, and I have, I think, 15 large boxes like what you see here in storage. And you see here, this is a unique pose. He's throwing the hand grenade from a prone position, which is somewhat difficult to do. Now, Iggy probably wouldn't be able to do this without blowing himself up, but that's another story. These are great poses. And there's one here. I know this is going to sound weird, but for some reason, I really like this figure here. I'm assuming it's an officer because of his binoculars, but he could be an Unteroffizier. But isn't that cool? I don't know. Everyone's got their. Wait, I can't see what I'm doing here. Everyone's got their favorites, you know? And this is one of mine. I just like this figure quite well. Oop, I hope I don't knock the trees over. I knocked the tree over. The box is a little caved in here from being in storage. And then they got these cool poses here. And there, you might think at first glance that they're the same thing, but this one, he's more or less aiming his MP40, and this one is, I guess, what you'd call firing from the hip. Also, I like this pose here. So we'll bring him up to the front and show you him. Sorry about my hand being in there. This is the, you can see he's got the jump smock on. And of course, the jump smocks changed as the war progressed. And also, like in the Mediterranean, they had a different smock, as well as they did in Normandy and the Ardennes. And also, they were in different categories. The ones who actually had jump experience were considered more elite than Fallschirmjäger, who did not have that experience. It was difficult to train Fallschirmjäger towards the end of the war because there just wasn't the resources for it. You know, it's fuel shortages and whatnot. But the ones who did jump were considered elite forces. And they'd wear a distinctive Edelweiss, which means they had to climb an alpine mountain in order to retrieve the Edelweiss. It's like a little flower that's only at a very high elevation in the Bavarian Alps. So that's a pretty cool thing. God, this is hard to do. And there's a pose I don't care for, and that's this one here. And luckily, only one is in the package, and that's this one here. Some of you guys might like this because it's, of course, an action pose, but I just never, I don't know. I guess it's not too bad, but I'm not real big on it, I guess. And then they have one that's marching. And I kind of like different poses like that because you can set up various scenes that way. Now, over here we have the infantry, and of course, the first one that leaps out at you is the officer. And he's an awesome pose. It's one of the things I like about Airfix. The officer in the Airfix group, I think, is better posed and more natural looking than the Matchbox, although I do like Matchbox figures too. And he's got what appears to be a PO8 pistola. I always thought pistola was Spanish or Italian, but it's a German word. And I really like this machine gun crew. As you see here, there's one guy, and I'm shaking. He's got the ammo box to feed the what appears to be an MG34. Let's flip it around and see if that's what we got here, okay? Yeah, it's got the distinctive air-cooled barrel there, and it is definitely an MG34. And I like this guy with the ammo box. And what's interesting for you guys that like conversions, you could easily cut the ammo box off and make him a prone rifleman seeking cover. And of course, the favorite pose, and I think for many of you also, it's your favorite pose, is the hand grenade thrower. I mean, this looks like it was taken right out of a history book, photo from a history book. Isn't that great, guys? I really enjoy this figure quite a bit. He's got his canteen, gas canister, and e-tool. I don't see a bread bag, but that's okay. So again, Airfix scores an A with this collection, as they do with their Fallschirmjäger. I bought these back in 1983. I was going to college because, well, I had dropped out of college many times because Iggy's not a very good student. But anyway, finally did graduate, but it sure took me long enough because I graduated from high school in 1974, and it took me until 1984 to get out of college. Everyone was shocked that I went to college because my grade point average was, I think, 1.9 or something. But, I stuck to it. I never gave up. Well, that's not true, guys. I did give up several times, but I kept going back and I stuck it through. And what are those T-shirts that quote the Queen or was it the Queen Mother during World War II saying, keep calm and carry on? Something like that. You see those T-shirts all over the place now. Okay, now this tree I mentioned was a CTS, and it was designed in such a way as to resemble somewhat a Marx tree. And they mix very well with Marx, and they had, I think, two different designs. I have no idea what happened to the other one because when I bought them, I think they came 2%. But this is one of them at any rate. Now, a lot of things I'm unable to find. Like I have a whole bunch of loose Joes in the kitchen. I can't find their equipment. And what happened is when I was told I had to move out, I was throwing everything into boxes as quickly as I could. And what I should have done is put the equipment and the Joe it goes to in one like large uh, food storage bag. But instead, I just threw it all in a box. And now I'm having a real hell of a time trying to put it all back together again. And that was my mistake, but I felt like I was really rushed. And so I packed everything as quickly as possible. Now, in the back here, there's original Marx, what they call delta trees, oak trees, A trees, based on its shape. And those are original. And then we have a repro tree stump. There is two different sizes of the tree stump, the large one and sort of a medium one. And this is the dead tree. And I have a whole bunch of those. What's really weird is I keep finding baggies of trees, so I'm wondering how many I have. At one point, I thought I had 40. And that might be true because I've discovered many boxes of or bags of these trees. I think because at the time I was really into the French and Indian War, and I was reading books about it and everything. And I started buying all these trees so that I could create the forest for the Hurons and Mohawks. And who really made great woodland Indians is Barzo. They had some really fantastic poses. And believe it or not, Armies in Plastic, their woodland Indians are really cool. Armies in Plastic have come a long way in their figure design. I don't know who's doing it for them now, but they're doing a swell job. Okay, guys, so that's all I've got for you today. This is Iggy saying thank you for getting Iggy with it. I would really love if you guys would subscribe and hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment. There's quite a number of people in Europe that have been leaving some really wonderful comments. And what I like about it is you inspire me to do more research because I'm doing all this from memory and I get challenged and I love looking it up. So I really appreciate you guys doing that. I hope when I answer, I don't seem testy because I don't want to be like that at all. I want everyone to feel welcomed and I want everyone to feel welcome to add comments. And also, if you guys could communicate with each other, that would be fantastic. Anyway, I'd like to give a shout out to members of the Iggy Army. And I encourage you to also get enlisted because you don't want to be drafted. I haven't established a draft yet, but you never know. I might pass a law that you have to be a member of the Iggy Army. Thank you for coming along today. I hope you enjoy Airfix as much as I do. If you're just getting into the hobby, I recommend you still can get Airfix figures. A lot of hobby stores sell them. Now, they were not easy to find elsewhere other than a hobby store. Like I bought these, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, I bought these when I was in college, and there was a really great hobby store around within walking distance of the university campus, and I would go over there on my lunch break and buy figures. And I bought Russians and Americans and Brits, and I think I got everything except commandos for some reason. But my financial resources, like at the time I was 1983, I was making $75 a month. And luckily, mom and dad let me live with them. Otherwise, you know what? I probably shouldn't have been. I probably shouldn't have been buying these. Iggy has very poor financial judgment. Let's just put it that way. And the fact that I'm having to move again is proof of that. Although I'm very different now. I am more responsible with my bills and everything now than I was when I was younger. Anyway, that I'm rambling. You guys know how I start to ramble. So I'll stop. I'll meet you back at the ranch. And thanks for coming along. You guys take care and make sure you get your collections out of the attic and set them up. Just make sure your girlfriend or your wife is not home. She'll say, "Who are you cheating on me with?" And go, Airfix? I don't know if she'd believe that. But anyway, you guys have fun, okay?